So, Irv Smith. Remember him? Yeah. He's got cut from the Kansas City Chiefs, which is kind of crazy, to be honest, because outside of their starting tight end, which obviously is Travis Kelce, they don't really have a number 2 tight end. So, when they picked him up, I figured, okay, well, they're probably going to keep him. Because if you remember Irv Smith and in his time in Minnesota, he really wasn't bad. I mean, obviously with us, he was absolutely horrendous. These were his grades last year when he played for us. It was very much atrocious, which I can't wait for Mike Gesicki this year because we get to see an actual tight end. But when he was with Minnesota, I mean, yeah, he wasn't the greatest, but he was serviceable. His biggest issue was injury. He couldn't stay healthy. But outside of health factors, you know, for the most part, everything else was pretty okay. There really wasn't a problem at all when it came to other factors outside of his health. So what happened to him, right? Because I'm starting to, like, kind of get confused here. Because I really expected him to make the Chiefs roster. And I thought, you know, okay, well, if he didn't make the Chiefs roster, it would probably be injury concern. Didn't have injuries. Stayed healthy. He just couldn't make the roster. And now he is a free agent. And here's what I'll say that I find so weird about the Irv Smith situation. Hayden Hurst, right, leaves us, goes over there. Or, sorry, he went for the Ravens, then he went to the Falcons, I believe, and then he went to us, and then he left us, got a bag, went to Carolina. Then Carolina cuts Hayden Hurst, gets rid of him, and then he gets picked up within a couple months by the Chargers. So, even though Hayden Hurst, you know, had the head injury last year, couldn't play the rest of the season due to concussion, and all the setbacks, I will say, overall, that Hayden Hurst has dealt with, you know, throughout his career with injuries and stuff like that, he still made a 53-man roster in LA. What is, like, I know there's, like, downtrends when it comes to players, especially when it comes to, like, you know, the different offensive skill positions. Tight end position's a good example of this. But this, like, downfall needs to be studied. And again, listen, I have no bad beef toward Irv Smith. It sucks that he wasn't really good for us. He was, you know, kind of a wasted signing. But for the most part, I wish him the best of luck. I have no issue with him overall-wise. He's 27 years old. Sorry, 26 years old. So it's not even like he's an old tight end. He has plenty of time left in his career. You know, last season, he only played 6 games because he did get hurt a little bit. Sorry, he played 12 games. He started 6. He played 12 games because he did get hurt a little bit. But for the most part, with us, you know, we just didn't want to give him his bonus. So if we would have played him the whole entire season, he would have gotten extra bonuses, and it wouldn't have been smart for us to kind of deal with that. So we just kind of said, all right, we're just not going to give you a bonus by not playing you. But again, like I said, I'm just like, this is one of those situations where it's like, I don't know what happened to him that he completely fell off. And now that he can't even make a 53-man roster, and Hayden Hurst can, again, I love Hayden, but Hayden's a little bit older, and also Hayden Hurst is, you know, he's deals with a lot of different injuries, and obviously the concussion. So I'm just surprised by Irv Smith. I really am. You know, again, I wish him the best of luck. He was a second-round pick by the Vikings in 2019, but I guess this really goes to show, like, you can't take tight ends early. And I know, like, okay, well, this is one case study, but then you look at, like, Eric Ebron, for example, Evan Ingram, and you're like, it kind of goes to, you know, stunt here that you just can't do it. And then who was that tight end? Oh, I can't remember his name. The tight end for the Lions. Was that Evan Ingram? Hold up. Might have been Evan Ingram. Is it Evan like this? Yeah. No, this was a Giants guy. Again, you might say, well, what isn't he, like, pretty okay right now? He's good for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but for a former 23rd overall pick for the Giants, he was a bust. He wasn't really that great. I mean, I won't say a bust, but he really wasn't that amazingly great. He ended up just not working out in the end. And I can't think of the guy, the Lions tight end. I don't know why I can't think of the guy's name. But even the Lions tight end, again, like I said, didn't work out. And I'm talking about the old Lions tight end. Who? Tight end drafted. I can't think of the guy's name. Hang on. I have a list of all the first round picks. The guy I'm thinking about, not TJ Hawkinsock, that was drafted. Although Hawkinsock, again, didn't really work out too well for them as well. And I'm thinking of Eric Ebron. Eric Ebron. Again, you know, he was a little bit more successful once he left the first team he was on. And maybe that's like what it has to end up being in the end here. Is you leave your first team, go somewhere else, and then the tight end becomes successful. But 10th overall pick right now, he is not even on a team. Okay, so he's not even on a team anymore. He hasn't played in 2 years. But also, I mean, at that point, he is like 30 years old now. But did play for Detroit for a total of, 4 seasons. Had one really good season for a tight end purpose. But really nothing crazy stat-wise. And then went to the Colts, very somewhat successful. And then went to the SKYLERs, and yeah. So, again, it's just, maybe we should not, this is why we don't take tight ends. And Hawkinsock was a lot more successful. Now he's over there in Minnesota. And I feel like he's a lot better in Minnesota than he was in Detroit. But still, I mean, Detroit, never mind, actually. Well, okay, so he had 900-yard season, but that was split between Detroit and Minnesota. He's a lot better in Minnesota than he was in Detroit. Because he only had 400 yards, 500, 700, 300. So 700, obviously amazing. But yeah, so overall-wise, Irv Smith, I feel bad for him, I really do. Because again, like I said, I think he could be a successful tight end. But now he's a free agent. And he's going to kind of be on that free agency period and route for a very long time. Until a team decides to pick him up and give him another chance. Which, I don't know. Like I said, like Hayden Hurst, he's on a team. Which kind of surprises me when you compare it to... I think Irv Smith is probably better than Hayden Hurst. But is he? You know, Mike Gesicki is going to completely change our minds this year when it comes to, like, actually it being worth picking up a free agent tight end. Because these other free agent tight ends, kind of mid. Kind of mid, to say the least. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.